Okay, hello and welcome back. Brett here with ClickMail. So it's one thing to be able to analyze data. It is a completely different thing, related, but completely different, to be able to make an accurate assessment, apply it, and then get the result that you want. That is a much harder thing to do. It is also required to do the data analysis, and that's also much different because we can analyze data forever. There's tons and tons of data. There's unlimited amount of data. When you pull up Google Analytics, you can go down that rabbit hole forever. There is no bottom. And so the question is just how well can you use and distinguish what data is important? And this is where we're going to talk a little bit about, and we're going to take a little bit of a turn from maybe what you would have seen in any other courses on assessing data. And we're going to talk about how to know what's important. That's not really something people tell you how to do with data. They just tell you how to read it and how to analyze it and how to assess it, but they don't tell us how to filter it in our mind so we know which data to actually look at. Okay, so in this video, we're talking about just a concept, and this is the concept of separating the message from the noise. And this is just generally important in every area of life because life is a lot. It's overwhelming. Business is a lot. It's overwhelming. And if we really are looking at every single data point, we will explode. We will get stressed. We will burn out. We cannot, handle that level, especially as ministries and businesses grow. There's more and more data. There's more and more decisions. You have to have filtering mechanisms to find what's important, and that's what we're talking about here. Now, when we are distinguishing, or excuse me, we want to distinguish between message and noise. Okay, so let's talk about what those two things are. There's tons of data. Let's say there's 100% of data. Whatever that data is, you got 100% of it. And we'll say 95% of it, 90% of it is noise. Noise is the static on the old tube televisions with the antennas coming up, and it's just black and white, snowstorm, fuzzy. That's noise. It means nothing. You can watch that TV all day, and it's never going to play a show for you. And the alternative is that 5% or the 10% of the data, it's probably way less than that, but I'm being generous. The small percentage of the data coming in that actually is meaningful and helps you to make useful decisions. That's what happens when you adjust the antenna and you actually see a TV show come through there. And that's message versus noise. It's reason versus just static gargly sounds. So when we look at digital data, I'm telling you, you need to adjust your little TV antennas to get the signal, not the noise. And how do we actually know that? Okay. So that's what we're going to be talking about in the next couple of videos is how we identify the signal as opposed to the noise. But this is just probably one of the most important parts of data analysis. And the reason why I say this is because many times when we have people who are analyzing data, they're very technically gifted and they're very analytically minded, which you have to have, but also they want to know all the data. And you can't look at all the static and you can't look at all of the noise and make any meaningful decisions. So what we end up getting from people who are very gifted with data analysis is a lot of analysis, but it's noisy analysis. It's analysis that's not helpful. And then what happens, especially if they're the expert, which you may be here in the future, they're reporting, let's say the web guy, right, who's the data analyst on the small business team or the ministry team, whatever it is, he's giving tons of noisy data up to the executive team because that's the important stuff, because everything is important to this guy. Then they are looking at noise and making decisions on data that doesn't matter. And this is the greatest way to hurt the performance of your business, of your ministry, because you're making decisions on stuff that's not important. So we don't want to look at all the data. We want to identify what's important and then make decisions based on that. So in data, like in life, we want to distinguish the important information from everything else, which is the majority, and focus in on that. So when we're looking at the data, focus on the message, focus in on the signal, not the noise. Thanks for being with me in this video. In the next videos, we're going to be going into how to distinguish what that message is. We'll see you there.